Viral lay on the cold ground, her green blood drying on her skin. She could barely move. Her shoulder was burned, and her breathing was shallow. The battle had ended hours ago, but she had been left behind, surrounded by wreckage and smoke. She expected death. That was what humans did to enemies. She had been told since she was young that humans were cruel. Her people said that humans never took prisoners. They destroyed everything. That was why Viral did not cry out when human boots approached. She closed her eyes and waited for the end. But it did not come. Instead, rough hands lifted her gently. She was placed on a stretcher and carried into a camp. It was noisy, full of shouting and machines. The sky was dark above, but bright lights surrounded the place. Her vision blurred as she passed out. When she woke, she was inside a tent. The walls were canvas. The smell was strong, blood, dirt, and something sharp. She tried to move but winced in pain. Then a voice spoke. "Don't move. You're safer now." She turned her head and saw a human man sitting beside her. He looked young, maybe in his 30s. His short brown hair was messy, and there were shadows under his eyes. He wore a plain jacket, not a soldier's uniform. "My name is Alex," he said. "I'm a medic. You're hurt pretty bad. I had to clean your wound and stitch you up." Viral said nothing. Her throat was dry, and fear kept her silent. She watched him carefully. He didn't look angry. He didn't look proud. He looked tired. Alex offered her a small cup of water. She hesitated, then took it. The water was warm, but it felt good. She drank slowly. "You were the only one alive when we found the field," Alex said. "You're lucky. Most don't make it." Viral frowned. Was it luck, or were they keeping her for something worse? She turned her face away. He didn't push her to talk. He just checked her bandages and replaced one on her arm. His hands were careful. The next day, she woke again. Food was placed beside her. It was plain, bread, and a small bowl of soup. She didn't eat it first, but hunger won in the end. Alex came in again and sat on a crate. "Still quiet," he said with a small smile. "That's okay. I get it. You don't trust me. You think I'll hurt you." Viral's eyes narrowed. Of course she thought that. She was a prisoner. But Alex didn't hurt her. Every day, he cleaned her wounds, brought her food, and sat beside her. He didn't talk much, but when he did, he spoke calmly. He never called her names. He never shouted. Other humans came and went. Some looked at her with cold eyes. One soldier said something rude, but Alex told him to leave. That surprised her. Days passed. Her body healed slowly. One night, the pain in her shoulder kept her awake. She sat up and saw Alex sitting nearby, looking at a small photo in his hand. "What's that?" she asked, her voice rough. He looked up, startled. It was the first time she had spoken. "It's my sister," he said, holding the photo out. "She's gone. The war took her." Viral looked at the picture. A young woman with bright eyes smiled from the photo. She looked kind. "I'm sorry," Viral said softly. "Thanks," Alex replied. She wanted to be a nurse, like me. She believed in helping people, no matter who they were. Viral looked away. "I thought humans hated us." "Some do," Alex said, "but not all of us. I don't want to hate anyone. I just want to help." That night, Viral lay awake for a long time. Her thoughts were heavy. Everything she had believed about humans was starting to change. Alex confused her. He didn't treat her like a monster. He treated her like someone who mattered. In the days that followed, she began to speak more. She told Alex her name. She told him about her home, the wide red plains and the blue trees. He listened without judgment. She still didn't know what would happen to her. Maybe she would still die here. Maybe the war would end her life. But for now, someone was treating her with kindness. And that was more than she had expected. And somehow, that scared her even more. Viral sat on the edge of her cot, holding the cup of water in her hand. Her shoulder still hurt, but it was healing. The bandages were fresh. Thanks to Alex, he had changed them earlier and said nothing except, "You're healing well." She watched the entrance of the tent, waiting for him to return. For some reason, she felt uneasy when he was gone too long. She did not trust the others. Some looked at her like she was a wild animal. Some just ignored her completely. Alex came back near sunset, carrying a tray with food. He smiled as he placed it down beside her. "It's not great," he said, "but it's warm." Vera looked at the food. It was better than the dry rations she had known on the front lines. She nodded slightly and picked up the bread. "Do you always do this?" she asked. Alex looked surprised. "Feed people?" "No, care for your enemies." He sat down on the crate across from her. He thought for a moment before answering. "I don't see you as an enemy," he said. "You're someone who got hurt. That's enough for me. But I am your enemy." Alex shook his head. "Maybe out there. Not in here. In here, you're just a patient." Viral didn't know what to say. She had never heard a human speak like this. She had been trained to believe humans were heartless. Her commander said humans would kill even the wounded. "You're not what I expected," she said. "Neither are you," Alex replied. She gave him a small look. "What did you expect?" "Something scary," he said with a smile. "But you're just someone trying to survive. Like me." Vera looked down at the floor. She felt something strange inside her chest. It was not pain. It was not fear. It was something new. They sat in silence for a while. Then Alex stood up. "Get some rest," he said. "You'll need your strength." He left the tent, and Vera lay back slowly. Her mind was full of questions. She thought about her family, her squad, and now, this human who treated her like a friend. The next day, the sky turned gray. A storm was coming. The air felt heavy. Soldiers moved fast outside, covering equipment and checking weapons. Inside the tent, Alex returned with supplies. He checked her wounds again, then sat down. He looked more tired than usual. "Are you okay?" Viral asked. He looked at her and gave a small nod. "Just busy. A lot of new injuries today. One guy lost his leg. He's younger than you." Viral stayed quiet. "I wish this war would end," he said softly. "I'm tired of watching people die." "Then why do you stay?" she asked. "Because if I leave, we'll help them?" Viral looked at him. He meant it. His voice was heavy with pain but full of truth. "My brother fought in this war," she said. "He told me humans were cruel. He believed it until the day he died." Alex looked at her. "And what do you believe?" "I don't know anymore." A sudden loud sound made them both jump. An explosion far away echoed through the camp. The ground shook a little. Voices shouted outside. Alex stood up quickly and stepped to the flap of the tent. "That was close," he said. "Stay here." He ran outside. Viral's heart pounded. She wanted to get up and follow, but her body was still weak. She waited, tense, until he returned 10 minutes later. His face was pale. "It hit the east fence," he said. "A few guard were hurt." He sat down again and rested his face in his hands. "You care about them," Viral said. "I care about everyone," Alex answered. "Even the ones I don't like. Even the ones who call me weak." "They call you weak?" He gave a dry laugh. "Some soldiers think helping the enemy is a crime. They don't like that I treat you." Viral felt something tighten in her chest. "I don't want you to get in trouble because of me. I'd rather get in trouble than let you suffer," Alex said simply. Viral stared at him. No one had ever said something like that to her, not even her own people. That night, when the wind howled outside and the rain hit the tent roof, Viral stayed awake. She thought about the strange human named Alex, who spoke kindly and risked anger to help her. She began to wonder if maybe this war had lied to them both. And maybe, just maybe, trust was not impossible. For the first time since her capture, she didn't feel completely alone. Viral sat quietly in the corner of the tent, watching the shadows move outside. Soldiers walked by in pairs, holding weapons. Some talked and laughed, but their eyes were sharp. She had seen those eyes before on the battlefield. Her shoulder hurt less now. She could walk slowly and use her left arm again. Still, she stayed in the tent most of the time. It felt safer there, mostly because of Alex. He came in again, carrying fresh bandages. He placed them on the small table and smiled. "You're healing well," he said. "Soon you'll be strong enough to walk around more." Viral gave a small nod. Thank you. He sat down and pulled out his notebook. He started to write something. Viral tilted her head. What are you writing? Medical notes, he replied. For the others. If something happens to me, someone should know how to take care of the wounded. She frowned. Why would something happen to you? Alex looked up. His eyes were calm but tired. There's tension. Some soldiers don't like that I treat you. They say I'm helping the enemy. Viral felt anger rise in her chest. But you help everyone. They should see that. Not everyone wants to see, he said softly. Some people only see what they want. Later that day, a group of soldiers entered the tent. Their boots were loud on the floor. One of them, a tall man with short blonde hair, stepped forward. We need to talk, he said to Alex. Alex stood slowly. What is it, Tyler? Tyler looked at Viral, his eyes cold. Why is she still here? Why are you wasting supplies on her? Alex kept his voice calm. She's a living being. She was wounded. I did what I had to do. You should have let her die, Tyler said. She's one of them. They kill our people. Viral stood up too, though her legs shook. I never hurt anyone in this camp. Tyler pointed at her. You don't belong here. Alex stepped between them. That's enough. Leave this tent. Tyler glared. One day, you'll regret saving her. The soldiers turned and walked out. The tent fell quiet again. Alex looked at Viral. Are you all right? She nodded, though her heart beat fast. Why do you protect me? Because it's right, he said, even when it's hard. That night, Viral couldn't sleep. The wind outside carried the sound of machines and distant shouting. She sat up and thought about what Tyler said. Her people had also said the same things about humans, that they were monsters, that they didn't care. But Alex proved that wasn't true. In the morning, she stepped outside for the first time. The sky was pale and the air was cold. She saw humans moving around the camp. Some stopped and stared. One whispered something to another, but no one came close. Alex saw her and walked over. Feeling brave today? I needed fresh air, she said. He smiled. Good. That means you're getting stronger. They walked slowly around the edge of the camp. Alex showed her the supply tents, the medical area, and the guard post. Soldiers watched them from a distance. You see them? Viral asked. They don't like me. I know, Alex said. But maybe if they see you walking like this, not hurting anyone, they'll begin to understand. Do you really believe that? He looked at her. I have to. Otherwise, what's the point? Later, back in the tent, Viral sat and thought about everything. About Tyler, the angry faces, the fear in their eyes. She realized they were scared, just like her people were. War made everyone afraid, and fear made people do cruel things. Alex brought her some tea. It's bitter, sorry. She took a sip. It was bitter, but warm. She looked at him. Do you think the war will end? Someday, he said, but only if people start seeing each other. Not as enemies, but as people. That sounds hard. It is, but it's not impossible. Viral looked down at the cup in her hands. Maybe she could be the start of something small, something new. Maybe peace began with moments like this. And maybe, just maybe, the shadows of war didn't have to last forever. The night was quiet, too quiet. Viral sat up in her cot and looked around. The lights in the camp were dim, and most people were asleep. But something felt wrong. The air was heavy, and the ground seemed to hum. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the tent. The ground jumped. A red light flashed outside. Viral jumped to her feet, heart pounding. She pushed open the flap and saw fire in the distance. Smoke rose high into the sky. Sirens wailed. Soldiers ran in all directions. Some shouted orders. Others grabbed weapons. It was chaos. Another explosion hit the far end of the camp. Viral fell to the ground as the shockwave rolled through. She looked up and saw ships flying overhead. They were not human. Her people had come. She got up and ran back into the tent. Her body still ached, but she moved fast. She grabbed a blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. Then she looked for Alex. He wasn't there. She ran outside again, dodging debris and people. She passed the supply tents, now in flames. She saw injured soldiers being carried away. And then she saw him. Alex was near the medical tent, helping a wounded guard. His arm was bleeding, but he kept moving. "Alex!" she shouted. He looked up. Relief showed on his face. But before he could speak, another blast hit nearby. The force knocked them both down. Viral crawled to him. "We have to go. It's not safe here." Alex winced. "I can't leave the others. They'll get help, but you won't survive another hit. Come with me." He hesitated, but the sound of falling metal nearby made the choice easier. She helped him up, putting his arm around her shoulders. Slowly, they moved away from the center of the camp. They passed a fence, broken from the attack. The way into the woods was open. Viral guided him toward the trees. They moved as fast as they could. The forest was dark, and the ground was uneven. Alex stumbled, but she kept him steady. Her training kicked in. She knew how to move in the wild. When they were deep enough in the trees, she found a small cave. They crawled inside, breathing hard. Alex leaned against the wall. "Thank you." "You helped me," she said. "Now I help you." He looked at her. "You could have left. Your people were there. You had a chance to go back." "I couldn't leave you." He looked surprised, then smiled. "I'm glad you didn't." They sat in silence for a while. The forest was quiet again, but far in the distance, fire still lit the sky. Viral cleaned Alex's wound with water from a small stream near the cave. She tore a piece of her clothing to wrap it. "You'll need better care," she said. "But this will help for now." "You're good at this," Alex said. "I was a field scout," she said. "We had to know how to survive." "Why did you become a soldier?" She paused. "Because I thought humans were evil. I thought I was protecting my world. And now I'm not sure." Alex nodded. "War teaches hate. But sometimes people learn something different." She looked at him. "Like us?" "Yes, like us." They stayed in the cave that night. The air was cold, but they were safe. Viral listened to the sound of the forest. Birds, insects, the soft wind through the trees. For the first time in many days, she felt calm. The next morning, the sky was cloudy. Viral helped Alex walk further into the woods. They needed to find a safer place. Maybe a village. Maybe a hidden path to the neutral zone. As they walked, they spoke more. Viral told him about her planet. The blue trees that glowed at night. The twin moons. The songs her mother used to sing. Alex told her about Earth. About rivers and tall mountains. About books and music. They shared stories. They laughed. They learned. Even though war had brought them together, something else was growing between them now. Trust. And maybe in time, something more. They kept walking side by side. Two former enemies. Now just two people trying to survive. And somewhere deep in her heart, Viral knew this journey had changed everything. For both of them. Viral and Alex moved slowly through the forest. The trees were tall and close together. The ground was uneven, covered with roots and rocks. Each step was hard, especially for Alex, but Viral stayed close and helped him. Alex's arm was still weak, and he limped a little. His face was pale, but he didn't complain. Viral carried a long stick for protection and to help Alex walk. "We should rest soon," she said. Alex nodded. "My legs agree." They found a quiet spot near a small stream. Viral checked the area, then helped Alex sit against a tree. She gave him water and a few dried fruits they had found along the way. "This reminds me of camping," Alex said. "Camping?" "Yes. It's when humans go into the wild to rest and enjoy nature. We sleep outside, make fires, and tell stories." Viral raised her brow. "You do this for fun?" Alex chuckled. "Yes, when there's no war." She smiled slightly. "Strange, but nice." They stayed by the stream for a few hours. Birds sang above them, and the air was cool. Viral washed some cuts on her arm, while Alex rested. Later, she sat beside him. "Tell me more about Earth," she said. Alex looked up at the trees. "Well, I grew up near the mountains. Winters were cold. My brother and I used to throw snowballs. Our house had a small garden. My mom loved flowers. Vera listened carefully. She had never seen snow or flowers. Her world was dry, with wide-open deserts and stone towers made by wind. We don't have snow, she said, but we have glowing plants. At night, the ground shines. It's quiet and beautiful. I'd like to see that one day, Alex said. Maybe one day you can, she replied. They rested again that night under the stars. There was no tent, just a blanket between them and the cold ground. Viral kept watch for the first half of the night. She heard animals in the distance but saw no danger. When her shift ended, she woke Alex. "Your turn," she whispered. He sat up slowly and rubbed his eyes. "Thanks. Get some sleep?" She laid down and looked at him. His face looked calm, even with the war all around them. She closed her eyes and slept. The next morning, they continued their journey. Viral checked a map she had taken from the camp. It showed a small village near the edge of the neutral zone. 2 more days, she said. If we're lucky. Let's be lucky then, Alex replied. The day was long. They walked for hours, stopping only to rest and drink water. At one point, they heard the sound of ships flying far above. They hid under thick trees until the sky was quiet again. Do you think they're looking for us? Alex asked. Maybe, but we're small. They have bigger targets. At night, they made a small fire. Viral cooked some roots over the flame. It was not tasty, but it was warm. Alex looked at the fire. You saved me. I still don't understand why. Because you saved me first, Viral said. I was doing my job. So was I. But now, I'm doing something different. Alex turned to her. What do you mean? I was a soldier, she said. Trained to fight, to hate. But now I'm learning that not all humans are cruel. He looked at her for a long time. I used to think all aliens were dangerous, but not anymore. They sat in silence, watching the flames. The fire danced in their eyes. The next day, they reached a wide hill. From the top, they could see far into the valley. Small buildings sat near a river. Smoke rose from chimneys. That's the village, Viral said. Looks peaceful, Alex said. We need to be careful. They might not like strangers. We'll find out soon. They started down the hill, tired but hopeful. As they walked, Viral thought about everything. The war, the lies, the kindness, the journey. Alex had shown her another side of humans. Not the one filled with hate, but one full of care and hope. And she had changed too. They were no longer just a soldier and a medic. They were something else now. 2 travelers, 2 survivors, 2 hearts learning to trust in the middle of a war. And that was a beginning. The small village was quiet when Viral and Alex reached it. Smoke curled gently from chimneys, and the scent of cooked food filled the air. Houses made of stone and would line the river. It looked peaceful. Viral kept her hood low. Alex leaned on her arm as they walked slowly toward the nearest building. A man chopping would notice them. He stared for a moment, then set his axe down and approached. Are you travelers? The man asked. Alex nodded. Yes, we're not here to cause trouble. My friend is injured, and I need shelter for a few days. The man looked at Viral. She kept her eyes down. Her alien skin color was clear in the light. The man frowned but said nothing. Talk to Nora, he said. She runs the inn, 2 streets over. They thanked him and followed the path. Soon, they found a small inn with a wooden sign swinging in the breeze. A woman stood outside, sweeping the steps. You look tired, she said kindly. Come inside. Inside, the room was warm. A small fire burned in the corner. The smell of bread filled the air. Nora brought water and bread without asking questions. Alex spoke quietly. We're on our way to the neutral zone. We just need rest. Nora nodded. You can stay in the back room. Keep your heads low. People here don't like outsiders much. That night, they rested in a small room with 2 beds and thick blankets. Alex sat on the edge of the bed, holding his side. Are you all right? Viral asked. I'll live, he said with a tired smile. We're close now. Viral sat beside him. Do you think they'll let us cross into the neutral zone? If we explain everything, maybe, but it won't be easy. The next morning, soldiers came. They entered the village quietly but with purpose. They wore human uniforms, and their leader was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She moved like someone used to command. Vero saw them from the window and stepped back. "They're here," she said. "They found us." Alex stood up, holding his side. "We have to talk to them before someone else does." They walked outside together. The soldiers spotted them quickly. One of them shouted, and they were surrounded. "Alex Miller," the leader said, "you're under arrest for aiding the enemy." "Wait," Alex said. "Let me speak." But the soldiers grabbed him and pushed him to the ground. Vero stepped forward. "Stop. He saved me. He saved lives." The leader looked at her. Her eyes narrowed. "You are not in a position to speak." "Please," Vero said. "He's not your enemy. He's the reason I'm alive. He didn't run. He didn't kill. He cared." "And what are you?" "A spy." "I was a soldier," she said. "But not anymore. I saw the truth because of him. He showed me that not all humans are cruel. He showed me that peace is possible." The village people had gathered nearby. They watched in silence. The leader looked around. Her face was calm but thoughtful. "Take them both. We'll let command decide." Vero and Alex were taken to a small outpost nearby. There, they were placed in separate rooms. Hours passed. Then, the leader came to see Vero. "Why did you come back for him?" she asked. Vero looked into her eyes. "Because he came back for me." The woman stared for a long moment, then turned and left. Later, she visited Alex. "You broke rules," she said. "Yes." "Why?" "Because she was a person who needed help." The next day, something unexpected happened. The soldiers released Alex, and they didn't send Vero back to the war. Instead, they were both taken to the edge of the neutral zone, a place where talks between humans and aliens sometimes happened. There they waited, and after 3 days, word came from higher command. They would be allowed to stay in the neutral zone while talks continued. They would not be harmed. They were not prisoners. Alex looked at Vero. "We made it." She smiled. "Together." He reached out and took her hand. It was a small gesture, but it meant everything. They stood at the edge of a new path. The war was still going. The hate was still strong. But now there was a chance. And sometimes, one chance was all it took to begin something new. Vero and Alex had walked through fire, fear, and loss. And now, they stood side by side, not as enemies, but as proof that change was possible. Vero sat near a small fire, looking at the stars. The night was calm. The neutral zone was quiet, away from the noise of war. Trees surrounded the clearing, and a river flowed nearby. Alex sat beside her, warming his hands. They had been here for 2 weeks. No one had tried to take them back. No one had hurt them. The humans and Vero's people were still talking. The war had not stopped, but something had changed. Every few days, messengers came to ask questions. Both sides wanted to know what happened between Vero and Alex. They listened to their story with quiet faces. Some left without saying much. Others thanked them. Vero did not care about thanks. She cared that no one was dying here. She cared that, for the first time, there was peace in the air. Alex handed her a cup of tea. "It's not good," he said, "but it's warm." She smiled. "That's enough." They drank in silence. The fire cracked softly. "Do you ever think about going home?" he asked. She nodded. "Sometimes. I miss the red plains, the glowing trees, the songs." "Would they welcome you back?" "I don't know. I left the war. They might call me a traitor." Alex looked down. "I might be called the same." Vero reached out and touched his hand. "Then maybe we make a new place. One where no one calls us that." He looked at her and smiled. "A place for people like us." The next day, a small group of humans and aliens arrived. They were not soldiers. They wore no armor. They wore simple clothes. A woman stepped forward and spoke to Alex and Vero. "We want to build something new here. A place for peace." A place where humans and your people can talk without fear. Will you help us? Viral looked at Alex. He nodded. Yes, we'll help. And so they stayed. The weeks turned into months. A small center was built near the river. A few homes were raised. A garden grew. People came and went, sharing stories, food, and songs. Viral taught young humans about her world. She showed them how to use light stones, how to find safe food in wild places, and how to listen to the stars. Alex taught first aid. He grew herbs in the garden. He trained others to care for the sick. One evening, a child asked, "Are you two friends or something more?" Viral laughed. "We are something more." Alex blushed and nodded. Much more. Life in the neutral zone was not always easy. Some people came with anger. Some shouted. Some left quickly. But others stayed. Others listened. One day, a group of soldiers came from Viral's side. They stood at the edge of the camp. She walked out to meet them. "We heard what you did," one of them said. "Some call you a traitor. Others call you a hero." Viral stood tall. "I am just someone who saw the truth. Not all humans are our enemies." The soldier nodded. "We're not here to arrest you. We came to see for ourselves." She invited them in. They sat by the fire. They ate human bread and alien fruits. And for a moment, there was no war between them. Later, Alex said, "That was brave." "No," Viral said, "that was needed." More people came after that. Some from far cities. Some from war zones. All came to see the two who had chosen a different path. Viral often thought about the day she was captured. She had braced for death. She had waited for pain. But instead, she found Alex. And everything changed. She was no longer a soldier. She was a teacher, a healer, a builder of peace. Alex was no longer just a medic. He was a partner, a leader, and a symbol of hope. They had both lost so much, but they'd also found something rare: trust, respect, and love. As the sun set one evening, Viral stood by the river. Alex walked up beside her. "Do you think this will last?" he asked. She looked at him. "If we keep believing, yes." He took her hand. "Then I believe." The sky turned orange and gold. The river sparkled. In that quiet moment, they knew they had done something important. They had changed the story. They had changed each other. And maybe, just maybe, they had changed the world